Have you ever wondered why you can work 80 hours a week, follow every financial tip, and still find your bank account empty at the end of the month? Why does it feel like there is an invisible ceiling, keeping you from the wealth you know you deserve? The truth is, you can't build a $1 million life on a poverty spirit. Many chosen souls are living like beggars while standing inside a palace. You've been programmed by your childhood, your environment, and even your religion to believe that suffering is holy and that abundance is a sin. But you are not a slave, you are an heir. God cannot give you what your mind is afraid to hold. If your spirit is still allergic to wealth, you will subconsciously push away every miracle He sends your way. Today, we are going to perform a spiritual surgery on your mindset. I'm revealing the 10 spiritual blocks that are secretly sabotaging your finances. It's time to stop surviving and start claiming your divine inheritance. Chapter 1. The suffering is holy myth, religious programming. For generations, a dangerous lie has been whispered into the ears of the faithful. The idea that poverty is a badge of honor and that suffering is a prerequisite for holiness. You've been conditioned to believe that the more you struggle, the more God is pleased with you. This poverty gospel has convinced millions of chosen souls that a thin bank account is proof of a thick spiritual life. But let us look at the truth. Poverty does not make you holy, it makes you limited. It doesn't make you more spiritual, it makes you more stressed. When you are constantly worried about how to pay for your basic needs, your mind is occupied by survival, not by the divine mission God has placed on your life. God is the creator of the entire universe, a master of infinite resources, golden streets, and galaxies beyond count. Why would a father of such immense wealth want his representatives on earth to live in a state of constant lack? Your struggle doesn't glorify God, your abundance does. When you have more than enough, you can fund the kingdom, feed the hungry, and build the institutions that change the world. Poverty is a tool of the enemy used to keep the children of light in a state of survival mode, where they are too tired to fight for their destiny. It is time to break the romanticization of the struggle. Holiness is found in your character and your obedience, not in your lack of resources. Being broke doesn't prove your piety, it only proves that you haven't yet aligned with the frequency of the source. Stop wearing your struggle like a crown. A king's child is meant to represent the wealth of the kingdom. When you accept that God wants you to be a conduit of increase, you give Him the legal right to flow through you. Prosperity is your birthright. Do not let a false sense of humility keep you in a prison of not enough. Chapter 2. The guilt of receiving, the blocked flow. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable you feel when someone offers to pay for your meal, gives you a compliment, or hands you a generous gift? Your immediate reaction is to say, "Oh, you shouldn't have," or to try and pay them back instantly. This isn't politeness, it is a spiritual blockage known as the guilt of receiving. You have been programmed to believe that it is more blessed to give than to receive, to such an extreme that you have completely shut off your ability to be a recipient of God's grace. But here is the universal truth. The ocean cannot flow into a vessel that is already capped. If you cannot receive, you stop the cycle of abundance. Every time you reject a gift or feel unworthy of a blessing, you are sending a signal to the universe that you are not ready for more. You are essentially telling the Creator, "Your provision is too much for me." Many chosen souls are amazing givers but terrible receivers. They give until they are empty, but because they feel guilty about receiving, they never allow their well to be refilled. This creates a spiritual burnout that leaves you resentful and broke. You must realize that for someone else to have the blessing of giving, you must be willing to provide them with the opportunity of receiving. God often uses human hands to deliver His miracles. When you reject the person, you are rejecting the source. You must learn to say, "Thank you," without the need to explain, apologize, or reciprocate immediately. Worthiness is not earned, it is inherited. You are worthy of wealth simply because of whose child you are. Practice being an open vessel. The next time a blessing comes your way, whether it's $1 or $1 million, open your hands and say, "I receive this in the name of the Father." By mastering the art of receiving, you remove the cork from the bottle of your destiny. Chapter 3. Generational Scarcity Chains, the Bloodline Curse. You are likely carrying a poverty ghost that doesn't even belong to you. Most of your fears about money were inherited from parents and grandparents who lived through times of extreme lack, war, or economic depression. You grew up hearing phrases like, "We can't afford that," "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Rich people are evil." These phrases weren't just words, they were spiritual seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Even if you are working a high-paying job today, you might find yourself self-sabotaging because your internal thermostat is still set to the temperature of your ancestors' struggle. This is a generational scarcity chain. It is a mental and spiritual loop that keeps you from ever having too much because your subconscious feels it's unsafe to be different from the tribe. You feel a strange sense of guilt for succeeding where your parents failed. You subconsciously limit your income to match the frequency of your lineage. But as a chosen soul, you have been called to be a cycle breaker. You were born into that family not to repeat their history, but to rewrite it. You are the one God has designated to end the poverty curse for the next 7 generations. To break these chains, you must consciously divorce the mindset of your ancestors. You must realize that their lack was a product of their circumstances and their beliefs. But it is not your identity. You can honor your parents without repeating their financial tragedies. Ask the divine to show you the inherited lies you are still believing. When you see your bank account growing, don't feel guilty, feel victorious. You are paying the success tax for those who came before you. Every dollar you attract is a link in that old chain snapping. You are moving from a bloodline of struggle to a kingdom of abundance. Chapter 4. The Small Prayer Trap, Insulting the Infinite. You have been taught to be humble in your prayers. But your humility has turned into a form of spiritual insult. You approach the creator of galaxies, the one who speaks suns into existence, and you ask for just enough to get by. You pray for rent money. You pray for a small raise. You pray to just survive another month. By asking for the bare minimum, you are subconsciously declaring that your God is small, limited, and barely capable of meeting your needs. This is the small prayer trap, and it is keeping you in a cycle of just enough, because the divine will never give you more than what you have the audacity to ask for. A king's child does not beg for crumbs, they ask for the keys to the kingdom. God is not intimidated by your big dreams, he is offended by your small ones. When you pray small, you are operating from a scarcity mindset that assumes God might run out of blessings if he gives you too much. But the source is infinite. Your abundance does not take away from anyone else's. In fact, a larger prayer allows God to display a larger glory. If you only ask for a bicycle, he can only show you a bicycle-sized miracle. But when you ask for a global empire to fund his work, you give him a stage to perform the impossible. It's time to expand your spiritual capacity. Stop praying for survival and start praying for dominion. Instead of asking for a job, ask for the wisdom to own the company. Instead of asking for your debts to be paid, ask for the resources to pay off the debts of others. When you align your prayers with the vastness of the Creator, you activate a different level of divine favor. Your prayers are the containers for God's provision. If you bring a thimble to the ocean, you only get a thimble's worth of water. Bring a tanker, ask big, expect big, and watch the Father move in ways that leave you breathless. Chapter 5. Hoarding versus flowing, the stagnant pool. Fear makes you a hoarder, but faith makes you a conduit. Many chosen souls are stuck in poverty because they have a clenched fist mentality. You hold onto every dollar with a grip of terror, afraid that if you let it go, it will never come back. You save out of fear, not out of wisdom. But in the spiritual realm, money is like water, it must flow to stay fresh. When water stops moving, it becomes a stagnant pool, it breeds bacteria, smells of decay, and eventually dries up. When your finances stop flowing, your wealth energy becomes stagnant, and you cut yourself off from the river of abundance. The secret to infinite supply is to become a flow-through entity. God is looking for people he can flow resources through, not just to. If you are a pipe that is clogged at the exit, the pressure will eventually stop at the entrance. But if you are a pipe that stays open, giving generously, investing wisely, and moving resources where they are needed. The source will keep the pressure high because it knows you won't block the line. Hoarding is a declaration of lack. It says, I don't trust there will be more tomorrow. Flowing is a declaration of faith. It says, the source is eternal, and there is more where this came from. This doesn't mean being foolish or wasteful. It means being spiritually fluid. It means tipping generously, helping those in need without a second thought, and paying your bills with gratitude instead of resentment. Every time you release money with a spirit of plenty, you open a portal for more to return. You cannot attract a harvest if you are too afraid to let go of the seed. Open your hands. Let the resources move. When you become a trusted distributor for the divine, the warehouse of heaven will never be closed to you. Chapter 6. The someday procrastination, the eternal later. The most successful thief of your destiny is a word called someday. You say, someday I'll be wealthy, someday God will bless my business, or I'll start being generous when I have more. By pushing your abundance into the future, you are effectively pushing it out of your reach. The divine name of God is I am, not I will be. He is a God of the now. When you speak in the future tense about your wealth, you are operating in a frequency of not yet. And as long as you vibrate it, not yet, your manifestation will always stay exactly one day out of reach. Someday is a sophisticated form of procrastination masked as waiting on God. You are waiting for the circumstances to change, but God is waiting for you to change your frequency. If you don't feel wealthy with $10 in your pocket, you won't feel wealthy with $10 million. Wealth is an internal state that must be claimed before it is seen. If you are waiting for the bank account to change before you start acting like an heir, you have the process backward. You must be the person of abundance now, even in the middle of your struggle. Stop living in the eternal later. Start making decisions today as if the blessing has already arrived. Dress like it, speak like it, walk like it. When you inhabit the now of your victory, you pull the future into the present. God is ready to release the divine inheritance, but He is looking for someone who is ready to receive it today. Not someone who is perpetually preparing for someday that never arrives. The clock of the kingdom is always set to now. Claim it, own it, and act on it this very second. Chapter 7. Resenting the wealthy, the psychological rejection. One of the most destructive spiritual blocks is the habit of criticizing those who already have what you are praying for. You see someone driving your dream car or living in a mansion, and your immediate reaction is to judge them. You say, they must be greedy, they probably cheated to get there, or must be nice to be born lucky. This isn't just a negative thought, it is a spiritual rejection. In the realm of energy and faith, you cannot attract what you resent. By criticizing the wealthy, you are telling your subconscious mind, and the divine, that wealth is evil or corrupt. Your mind will then work overtime to keep you poor to ensure you stay good. If you view rich people as the enemy, your spirit will view money as a weapon of the enemy. You are effectively building a wall between yourself and your inheritance. To break this block, you must learn to bless what you want to attract. When you see someone succeeding, celebrate it. When you see a display of abundance, thank God for the reminder that His world is full of wealth. Their success is not your lack, it is your evidence. It is a sign that if the Creator can do it for them, He can do it for you. Stop looking for reasons to dislike the successful. Instead, start looking for the God principles they applied to get there. Whether they realize it or not, they followed a law of value, service, or discipline. When you shift from resentment to observation, you begin to learn the language of abundance. You must become a person who loves wealth not for the sake of greed, but for the sake of the freedom and influence it provides. Align your heart with the success of others, and you will find your own success rushing toward you. Chapter 8. The frequency of not enough, the language of lack. Your words are the thermostat of your reality. Most people spend their entire day broadcasting the frequency of not enough. You say things like, I can't afford that, prices are too high, or I'm struggling to get by. You think you are just stating facts, but in the spiritual realm, you are issuing decrees. Every time you speak of lack, you are ordering more lack from the menu of the universe. You are reinforcing a reality where you are a victim of the economy instead of a child of the provider. The divine frequency is one of sufficiency. God is the El Shaddai, the God who is more than enough. To tap into his inheritance, you must change your vocabulary. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, say, the Father hasn't released the funds for that yet. Or, that is not a priority for my current harvest. Instead of saying, I'm broke, say, I am in a season of preparation for my next level of wealth. This isn't about lying to yourself. It is about refusing to align your spirit with the spirit of poverty. You must protect your ears and your mouth from the gospel of scarcity. If you constantly talk about how hard things are, you will continue to experience hard things. Begin to speak over your bank account, your business, and your household with the authority of an heir. Use phrases like, my needs are met according to his riches, and opportunities are seeking me out. When your inner and outer dialogue matches the frequency of heaven, the material world has no choice but to adjust to your new standard. Chapter 9. Spiritual laziness, the waiting room trap. There is a huge difference between waiting on God and stagnating in sloth. Many chosen souls are stuck in poverty because they have used spirituality as an excuse for laziness. You say you are waiting for a sign, or waiting for God to open the door. But God is actually waiting for you to walk toward the door. The Bible says that God blesses the work of your hands. If your hands are idle, He has nothing to put the blessing on. Prayer is the strategy, but action is the execution. Without both, the miracle stays in the spirit and never reaches your pocket. God is not a genie who rewards wishful thinking. He is a partner who rewards obedience and movement. Think of the Israelites at the Red Sea. God didn't part the water while they were sitting in their tents. He parted the water when they started walking toward it. Many of you are waiting for the money to start the business. But God is waiting for the business plan to release the money. You are waiting for the feeling of confidence. But God is waiting for the step of faith. Spiritual laziness is a form of fear. It's easier to sit and pray than it is to risk failure by taking action. But the divine inheritance is for the courageous, not the complacent. You must be willing to do the grunt work, the research, the cold calls, the long hours, knowing that your effort is the altar where God's fire will fall. Stop asking God to do everything. Ask Him to guide your steps. When you move, the universe moves. Take the smallest step you can today, and watch how fast the divine partner meets you halfway. Chapter 10. The tithe of vision, honoring the seed. The final block keeping you from your inheritance is the refusal to invest your best resources into the vision God gave you. Most people understand tithing as giving money to a church. But the spiritual principle goes deeper. It is the act of giving your first and best to your divine purpose. Many chosen souls are stingy with their own dreams. They spend their best energy on someone else's company, their best hours on entertainment, and their leftover scraps of time on the vision God placed in their hearts. When you treat your vision like a hobby, the universe treats your results like a hobby. Honoring your vision is an act of worship. If God gave you a dream to build an empire, to create a school, or to lead a movement, He expects you to treat that dream with the highest level of respect. This means tithing your focus, giving the first hour of your day to your mission. It means tithing your income, investing in the tools, the coaching, and the infrastructure needed to make the vision a reality. When you show the Creator that you value the seed He gave you, He trusts you with the harvest. You cannot expect a king-sized return on a peasant-sized investment of effort. Stop waiting for the vision to become profitable before you take it seriously. Take it seriously so it can become profitable. Your divine inheritance is locked inside the work you are currently avoiding. When you prioritize your God-given assignment above your comfort, you signal to the heavens that you are ready to rule. Give your best to your vision, and the divine will give His best to your reality. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to be a slave to debt or a victim of lack. The poverty spirit is a lie, and today, that lie has been exposed. You are an heir to the King of Kings. The wealth of the heavens and the resources of the earth are part of your spiritual DNA. The surgery is over. The blocks have been removed. Now, you must walk differently, speak with authority, act with audacity, and never again apologize for the abundance that is flowing into your life. You aren't just getting rich, you are reclaiming your divine inheritance to change the world. The palace doors are open. The Father is waiting. It's time to stop begging at the gate and start reigning from the throne. Comment, I claim my inheritance, to activate this shift in the physical realm. Share this with a chosen soul who is still living in the shadows of lack. And subscribe to continue your journey into the light of abundance. Your struggle ends here. Your legacy starts now. Go forth and prosper. Amen.